Game on, ladies and gentlemen! The Division S Qualifier for Season 2 is starting here. Well, it's not really starting, but we're in the semifinals right now, so we're starting into a new best-of-3 series. Feel the heat against Pepe, my lady. And there's actually a little bit to talk about. I mean, we already had, of course, on the channel and on YouTube, some of the games of the Division S Qualifiers. But, as I said in previous videos already, there is a difference between the way that the North American system works and the European system works. Simply because there are more slots available in North America, since a lot of the previous teams just simply completely forfeited their spot and stopped. People started, teams disbanded, others just stopped playing heroes. And in Europe, there's just like more of a player and team base, so there's a few less slots available, more teams signed up for the qualifiers too, so there are slight differences. So whereas in North America, if you win a tournament, you qualify directly for Division S. In Europe, it's slightly different because over here we have 4 qualifiers. This is the last one, and the teams accumulate points in every single qualifier. So the farther you go in a tournament, the more points you get, and then you end up in a ranking. The top teams in the ranking participate in the final tournament that is going to take place last week, and depending on what kind of outcome you reach there, you make it into Division S or not. That's pretty much the entire setup. Right now, Feel the Heat and Pepe My Lady are 2 of the top teams that we currently have in the European qualifiers. The top team is obviously Kiku Combo, who so far has won every single tournament. But these two have heavily fought for the second spot, and we are gonna see another one of these fights. So on the left, Feel the Heat, Battlefield of Eternity is our first map. Again, this is the semi-final. It is a best-of-3 series. And the Polish team on the right. Also today, Tobo's apparently not available, so the blue team plays with a sub player. Patatbak seems to be a league player, from what I was told, and is going to sub in for the team today in order to help them out here to reach the grand final, where they actually might go up against the Kiku Combo again, because in the second semi-final we have Kiku Combo actually playing. So this is exactly what's going to go on here. Malfurion and Tracer. So an early setup already for this. Definitely looking for the team fights here. By the way, as I mentioned in the past a few times, if you watch this on YouTube right now, first of all, if you like the coverage in general, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, then hit that sub button there too. Games are released every single day at 7 PM European time. But as we're talking about this, if you go over to Khaldor.tv, there is a live stream schedule. There's additional information about a lot of these tournaments that you can actually check out. But especially if you want to catch the stream live at some point, that's one of the things that you can actually do here. Either way, we have Uther taken and Reina. And Uther's actually an interesting one, because especially the team in red likes to play Uther sometimes in the off lane. And we have seen this a little bit more just recently, but it's only certain teams that seem to try to experiment with that a little bit more. So they're going a bit more full NA on that end. We'll see if that's actually the play here. But honestly, I assume that we are going to see a second support from them, Uther on the offlane, and then just another frontline over this. Johanna gets banned out, and so does Mal'Ganis, so it seems like Pepe My Lady is not afraid of banning tanks out, despite the fact that they don't have a tank yet, unless, of course, they want to play Uther as a main tank and go really full NA with the full one for the Fiesta. Limin gets taken by the sub player, and Wit is gonna rock Blaze. Could be in a main tank position for them, of course, too. But let's see how the Polish team is going to round their own draft out. So far we have Reina taken, which comes honestly a bit as a surprise to have Reina with such a high priority. Not a bad hero by any means, but I wouldn't have expected them to go into him right now, especially with Varian taken. I mean, if you go into a taunt Varian, you would have expected a little bit more burst damage, maybe something along the lines of Jaina. So he goes for the tank. They definitely want to go for the team fights. This is one of the maps where you don't need a whole lot of additional wave clear, so Varian gets a little bit stronger in this role. And as already assumed, we have a second support with Rhaegar. But yeah, Varian, and that makes that Reina pick a little bit odd. Honestly, with Varian now taken, I would have really assumed they would pick something that can just deliver a bit more burst damage on that setup. But in comes Arthur's. Yeah, Blade with Arthur's. Blaze on top of that too. So Battlefield of Eternity, the stage is set for our first game in the best of 3. Battlefield of Eternity is the map. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the first game of the best of 3 series here at the semi-final of the Division S Qualifier. Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. People on YouTube complain these days that I only include the ladies in my introduction, not so the gentlemen. I have to say that there are not a lot of ladies watching esports, but a special shoutouts to all of them that do. To the left side, feel the heat in our first game with X-Ray on Malfurion, Dino on Tracer, Patatbak, the sub player on Liming. We have Vit on Blaze and Blade on Arthurs. And to the right side of the map, the Polish team, Napierdalaj, with the Wilkie on Varian, Richu on Uther, Gorrider on Reyna, Scope on Rega, and Balsa is playing Hanzo in the game. Alrighty, I'm ready to rock and roll and see how much Varian can actually pull off right here, because this is a bit of a question mark for me. It's really an interesting approach that they have now. Not only the Uther side lane, but then also, of course, the Varian pick. I want to quickly also reiterate once again that we actually have now, for the first time in a competitive match, also the experience changes active. And as I said in the past, personally I think that the experience changes are total shit, and that it's a change that was made just to change something. So if anything, it reveals in my eyes that Blizzard doesn't play their own game. But maybe I'm a little bit too harsh. Maybe I just am afraid that the game is going to be a lot more snowball if the team controls it well. But of course there are certain heroes that are heavily reduced in value now, especially everybody that has a very increased range and can burn down minion waves with it. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong. Because right now I'm a bit afraid that we're gonna see more snowbally games once the team has a certain talent advantage, especially around the level 16 tier, over their opponent, and is then able to control those lanes and the lane experience a little bit more aggressively with the new changes. But we're gonna find out again. Hopefully I'm wrong, but this is actually the first real tournament match, because as we all know, Storm League is a little bit of a shit show, no matter what level you look at. Very, very random and not really comparable to anything that is played in competitive. So this is the first tournament matches actually that we're seeing in this now. Yeah, well, the tower already gets attacked at the bottom. Wit in this case is, I mean, they led to the first kill with a good jet propulsion from him slightly earlier when they were able to take down Jimmy. So Gore Rider already took a little bit of a beating. But we'll see. For now I'm still waiting for the level 4 talent, because there's always the chance that you're gonna go in full on meme mode with Varian. But it should be taunt. I hope it's taunt. I'm praying that it's taunt. That's a problem. Nice setup. Well done. The Will Q comes in, and there's the hit and the kill. Also, again, the adjustment on level 4 for Battlefield of Eternity. We see this pretty much exclusively on this level. But again, you look at other players and we have still a lot of dominance taken, despite the fact that the talent was, of course, a bit nerfed. And there's Taunt. Gets taken. But again, not really a whole lot of burst damage that we're seeing from the red team. But they have additional stuns, of course. They have Uther in the mix. They have also the Hanzo arrow that they can also YOLO out if they want to. And in addition to that, we're looking at Rega with the totem. As up to the top, there's the control against Arthurs. And he gets wrecked. Taken down by Uther in this case. Okay. Well, with this said, the first Immortal is already up. We're gonna see a little bit of an aggressive play here from both teams, as it seems. Well, actually, this is a bit of a change. Seems like the red team initially was thinking about defending their own Immortal, but now they're looking for the halftime show. Take an early lead against this, especially with Hanzo and his level 4 talent. He can, of course, get a lot done here. Tatbak still with the poke, and he needs to be a bit careful against Uther here, obviously. But there we have it. Set up at the bottom of the map, and the halftime show secured by the red team. The Polish team making the plays thus far. Currently looking at 2 kills against 1. And in addition to that, we're of course also having them right now. Ooh, nice attempt by Tracer again to go for the kill. Yeah, but with a pretty significant lead on objective number 1. They want to go for that Immortal. Trying to take that quickly. And with a bit more outside poke, they might be able to pull it off. Dino is the only one on the left side is trying to do some damage. Oh, but Hanzo gets down. It's an important kill, actually. With Hanzo eliminated, that's most of the poke gone that they had, so it's going to be really rough for them to win the Immortal now. Especially if they would lose more, and that could happen since Reyna gets taken apart by Li Ming. Quick kill, 3 kills against 2 now, and Feel the Heat is definitely making sure that Tebe, my lady, is feeling it. Richu is also gonna get dropped, and that is 4 kills against 2 at this point. And pretty much secured first objective, unless a miracle happens, aka Hanzo. not even Hanzo on his level 4 are able to take the Immortal that quickly. A bit of a setup on the left side, and it looks like he's gonna die again! Yeah, Blade just walks him down here, and a bit of an assist is coming through with Tracer jumping into the fight. Needs to get out, but that was nearly a kill against Rhaegar, and all of a sudden it's actually Reyna that is in trouble, and that's another kill. They're picking... Oh my god, Tracer gets also wrecked. Damn, Pepe My Lady needs to be really careful now. Yeah, well, more experienced globes taken by the Will-Q just in time. But this is, of course, the danger that you now run into. If experienced globes are over here, then you are literally forced to move out. This is one of the reasons why I really don't like the change at all. Blizzard has said that they pretty much want to teach people, like at least I was told, Blizzard said that they want to teach people how to soak experience a little bit more reliable, but honestly, you have to change the entire way that you play the game now because of it. And it's a significant nerf to every single ranged hero, and it will force people in very dangerous situations, and teams are going to lose a lot harder when they are behind and can't go into the middle of a map to take those globes up. So the games should become more snowballing. You already see a pretty big gap between the two teams here, which of course is largely also because of the big difference in kills now. The fort has been eliminated too. We have 8 kills against 3. And we actually can take a little bit of a look at the experience setup here. The minion experience, a big difference already. And again, of course, there's a huge hero experience lead. There is more to it than only that, but you can tell that this big gap that we have in minion experience is largely also because one team is just controlling every single angle of this now. But Blade gets ganged up, and he goes down. Blade taken apart. And with Arthur's getting dropped, despite the fact that they had level 10 abilities already, that is maybe the ticket back into the game for the team in red. Rogue abilities are now obviously in, which gives us Bunker. And also, in addition to that, we have the Twilight Dream for Malfurion. But with that one kill, the red team starts to become a little bit more confident, and they're actually aiming for a camp at the bot lane, but I don't really think they can get that right now. Well, everybody seems to be rotating down to the bottom of the map for this one, and level 10 is close, so Pepe My Lady might just be able to fight for it after all. Question is really just, do they want to? Here comes Uther with the additional stun. We also have Banshees taken, and still a little bit of pinging going on right here. Alright, experience is completely lost at this point. Nobody is actually going to get close enough to that. Well, actually, there comes the arrow. Maybe there could be a kill against... Yes! Malfurion is down, and another stunlock attempt against Arthur's, and Blade, despite the fact that he has the Icebound Fortitude, gets dropped here too. So him down, and that is just the Polish team coming in again with a little bit of aggression. We look at the setup, Jinkuya, and immediately saying like, thanks guys. Thanks for the kills, thanks for the experience, now we have a chance to get back into the game here. That is absolutely fantastic. So, let's go. Top lane, there's also a little bit of a push happening. No hero rotating up to pick the experience up. Of course, you now have a little bit more. It's pretty much like a little bit of like, it's not. It's a bit of a window where you can rotate a hero in even if you're not present at the time when those minions are taken down. So that could make for very different plays, especially of course when you have rotations between two lanes from a single hero that tries to soak the experience. But at this point, once again, the setup against Will-Q. Okay. Let's see if we can actually get this one done. At this point, we're having, at the bottom of the map, just the Immortal coming in. I mean, with the kills against the blue team, that was an inevitability that Pepe My Lady would pick this one up. The question is simply now, how much damage can they get with it? And they're going to try to, of course, just absolutely murder that bottom four to at least equalize the situation and structures. I mean, to an extent. Bot lane fort is obviously also incredibly low on the side of the red team, but still, you could make a play here. They're trying to actually walk Uther down, and it gets to a point where Will-Q also has to rotate top to help him out. But they should still be able to keep it in play. Bomb does not connect, and that's unfortunate. They needed that damage. The fort is taken apart, and there's the arrow, but immediately cleansed out with the Nature's Cure. The problem is that Tracer ain't so lucky. Yeah, she gets countered hard by the taunt here. And Blade gets wrecked as well. Pepe, my lady, all of a sudden really coming in and trying to make a bit of a play in game number 1. That's actually a really solid start, considering that initially they actually fell behind, lost the first objective, and also a lot of momentum at the top of the map. 8 kills against 9, and 13 versus 13 right now. Well, in a moment. Which gives us, amongst other things, of course, again, the Earth Shield, still one of the absolute staples in the build of Rhaegar. Helps him a lot to get the time through for an Ancestral. The sub player on Li Ming is so far doing a pretty decent job. And has also gone with Calamity, of course, into the more aggressive build, and a good one for that. Let's see, what else are we gonna see here? Right now, it's just like all about camps again, and there's not too many on the map. The top camp is taken by the red team, by the blue team, which pretty much means that the red team has an easy time taking the Khaldor camp at the bottom of the map now. That shouldn't pose any problems for them whatsoever. And there we go. Already taking this one. That's an easy one for them to claim. And with level 8, or with 8 kills against 9, let's have a quick look at the damage numbers actually. Right now 30,000 on Li Ming, which is definitely not too bad. We're also having Hanzo currently sitting solid at 25,000. I mean, a lot of the poke, of course, is coming from him around the Immortal every single time that it happens. And with this setup, the next Immortal is going to be a pretty even battle. If they can take this down, that would of course be quite nice, but Arthas is not going to walk simply into that fort. That's not going to happen. Would have been great for them if they can get additional catapults out there, but the more important thing is really to win the next Immortal, and that's where they have to fight over right now. And, well, with it about to spawn, let's see the camp. Okay, is up, but I don't really think they can go for it. Maybe during the halftime show they might have a chance to try and grab that. But there we have it. Already the attacks coming through on both sides, and it's just a race. It's simply a race until the halftime show kicks in. Bot lane has to be taken care of at some point, because if they are not moving down to the bottom, that fort will fall. And I'm not sure if Pepe My Lady can really afford that, but they're also not taking them. They're a little bit afraid to lose the objective, and you can't really blame them. They're currently slightly ahead on the halftime show, but they're losing the bottom fort now. And that is going to spawn catapults in every third wave again for Feel the Heat. And Feel the Heat, I mean, all memes aside, they're feeling the heat a little bit now, of course, as well. Because that game has currently not completely gone their way. Yeah. It's still both of them looking for an opportunity to get a couple of shots connected and maybe pick up the isolated kill. And there it is! The isolated kill attempt, mass stuns! Ah, and he gets Hanzo'd. Arthas just got Hanzo'd. In comes the arrow, and the geometry is correct. The keep at the bot lane is soon going to be attacked too. They don't pay any attention here, but yeah, that was nice. Good kill by him. Nearly survived, but they don't have the burst heal. And there comes the second one. Yeah. All of a sudden, we have a kill against Blaze. I think Li Ming just ruined her own play. Did she just use Repulsion to push the target out of the orb range? It seems like that's exactly what happened here. There's another taunt against Tracer. They can't get the kill here. Dino is able to move out, but the Immortal is about to fall, and things are starting to become really dicey for the blue team. Off to a great start in game number 1, and then falling off heavily once the mid game actually starts. But at the beginning of the game, around level 10, boy did they have a lead. 2 levels ahead, and now just look at it. Every single time that Varian sees a target, they're going for it and just taking it down. And they're not taking any chances there either. It's just a quick Ancestral, better safe than sorry, not gonna lose anything. Yeah, over here, Uther can actually pick up all the experience, even though he wasn't there. And on the left side, the Immortal is about to be taken down. Well, the fort is going to be taken down, but the Immortal eventually, of course, is also going to get wrecked. It's interesting to actually see the rotation down here to the bottom. They're trying to get level 16, of course, now, because they go up against the talent advantage, and they can't really manage that. They need 16 and need it quickly. But it's actually pretty impressive, considering that there's no real burst damage on the side of the red team, how much they are able to do with Varian here. I mean, obviously a lot of the heroes are straight up counters or attempted counters to Tracer. All the stuns that they have, and the CC is pretty fantastic, especially with the lead-in from Hanzo and his own arrow. That keep is nearly down, but they're not quite able to take it. So 16 versus 16, which gives us also Mirror Ball. Camps again prioritized. Another quick look at the experience here, if you guys want to check that out. Hero experience heavily in favor of Pepe My Lady, but they could turn right here. Nice ult for Malfurion, and Hanzo is down. In comes Li Ming with the resets, and that's the kill against Rhaegar, against Reyna. It's going to be a kill against Uther too. They're going to wipe the entire map, but they're not going for will queue, which pretty much means that they're just trying to invade the opponent and try and go for maybe the keep. I was more expecting them to first of all steal the camp away, but instead they're just spawning Broccoli, who soaks the shots, and now the opportunity to go in and take the keep down, and that's an easy one. If they can get a kill against Wilq now as well, that would be fantastic. That's a staggered death on the side of the red team. Doesn't get much better than that. Well, Arthas dies, but I honestly call worth it at this point. And yeah, it's gonna be a 5 versus 5 once that variant respawns too. But yeah, they get the keep, they get the kill, so that's all that they really need to pull off here. Okay, with that said, the rotation down to the bottom of the map to get additional camps. They actually let this one go. They didn't try to steal it, simply making sure that they would be caught by the opponent. They knew that the heroes would spawn very, very soon, so they didn't want to take that fight. But yep, right here, 13 versus 13 kills still. And this is an interesting setup now. With that keep lost topside, continuous catapults are going to spawn for Feel the Heat, and that gives them a lead. And a pretty significant one. And just look at this, they're coming in from behind, they're trying to get the kill here. Not quite sure that's going to work out the way that they intended, but that stun didn't connect, and that's a problem. That's a big cooldown that just got burned. And that's of course a cooldown that they would like to rely on during the team fight, but now they can't. So that's a problem. But a setup against X-Ray again. Positioning on Malfurion here, not ideal for them. X-Ray goes down, and that's a big problem. They can still try and win the halftime show here, but with 40 seconds on Malfurion, it's basically just... I mean, it's damage control, let's be honest. Oh my god, they're actually going to the fight. Yeah, well, Jimmy isn't here yet. They might get the kill. Nah, oh, Li Ming! The Ancestral saves the backline for a second, and all of a sudden the sub player just pops off together with Dino. They get 3 kills against 1. A 3 versus 2 setup now. And it seems like Feel the Heat might have just done it. Look at that bot lane. Double camp is coming in. Or at least a few remainders of the double camp. Looks like the top keep is going to fall regardless though. But if the bottom keep dies, that would be pretty amazing. They're all actually rushing topside, trying to save this one. I'm not quite sure if they can pull this off. But with Blaze, they might just be able to stabilize it, thanks to the catapult not reaching it yet. And at the bottom of the map, a similar picture is now unfolding in front of us. But yeah, damn son. What a setup. I can't believe that they actually won that fight. That was real well played. And of course the resets on Li Ming just were fantastic for them. Li Ming now with 61,000 damage, cementing the performance with damage numbers now too. 0 deaths, by the way. The only one that hasn't died yet is Li Ming, the sub player for the team. 16 against 15, level 20 is also around, and they're starting to make the plays again. Or are they? Bot lane, that's where we're gonna have the next one moving through, but let's see. Here comes the attempted push, already going for a little bit of a flank attempt. 16 for Jimmy, by the way, with the Bounty Hunter now. Okay, tries to get some additional damage out. And here we go, Hanzo's already starting. They know that Uther is somewhere around here, they're already pinging his location. And there we go, Wilq is a bit isolated and is going straight into the Malfurion route. That's a problem, and he just gets bullied, but the Ancestral healing is there in time. Rhaegar misses the Ancestral though, and that is at this point another quick double kill. The arrow misses, sorry, not Rhaegar. That would have been interesting, missing the Ancestral. That takes quite a bit, but 3 heroes down, and that's pretty much the end of game number 1 in this series. Nicely done! Nice back and forth here for the first map. Feel the Heat with a victory against Pepe My Lady on map number 1 of this best of 3 series. GG, and well played as the blue team takes the W. Volskaya Foundry, ladies and gentlemen. Feel the Heat in the lead against Pepe My Lady. And the Polish team looking good for long periods of game number 1. But Feel the Heat didn't need a lot. They needed a few kills, and then they were going for... Well, they immediately went for the keep at the top lane, for example. Lost Arthurs in the process, but still, good trade for them. And then they win the next Immortal, and they win the game. So now we have a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 for them. They are eager to go into the grand final of the series. And let's see if they can actually pull this one off. Again, the farther you go in the tournament, the more points you secure for the standings. Okay, so with this, we're having Arthur's banned. We have also ETC banned out. I'm still waiting for that Zeratul ban on the side of Paper My Lady, obviously. It's Volskaya Foundry, but you kind of want to ban that away from Dainu, unless you are willing to pick it for yourself. I kind of like the drafting approach of Paper My Lady, to be honest with you. Yeah, Zeratul gets banned, yeah, for good reason. Dainu pretty much a beast on that hero. Let's see, what do we have with this? Okay, so, I mean, they can definitely start up with... They could even play another Tracer combo, honestly, if they wanted to. If they want to lead, for example, with Malfurion here at the beginning and then later on spec into Tracer, if it doesn't get picked away, they could. But Wit wants to have Johanna first. And, yep, with Jojo picked... What are we gonna have from Paper My Lady? It's gonna be a little bit more of these interesting drafts for them. Rek'Sai is open if one of the teams wants to play him on the offlane. Still a pretty powerful hero, of course, in that role. Volskaya Foundry is also one of the maps where he has been played a lot, so that's an option. Would be shocked to not see Blaze picked either, even though I don't expect him to be picked this early. There's Sylvanas. Ooh, and Whitemane. The hell? Whitemane? Really quick pick into her. No Rhaegar, no Ana, no nothing. A quick Whitemane pick. And again, they have their own style. They definitely do. So with that, what are we gonna get from Feel the Heat now? What are they gonna go for? They could play that Blaze setup that I said. Yeah, well, there we have it. And Li Ming gets taken again for Patatbag, the sub player. It's one of those things, if you have a sub and he just feels really comfortable with one specific hero, then just like throw him on that hero the entire time. I could have even seen, well, maybe not Li Ming ban, you know, but just maybe a move where you pick Li Ming away from him just to see how deep that hero pool is actually that he plays around. But yeah, I'm still a little bit weirded out by that early Whitemane commitment. Mainly because there's no real need to commit to that hero that's this early. You could easily... It's not like Whitemane is going to be banned against you. So... They could have picked him in the second rotation and maybe picked up Blaze for themselves. If they wanted to. But yeah, let's see how they continue their draft. I mean, they already have some of the damage and they can snowball with an objective now easily as well. But what else are we going to get? Okay, Mal'Ganis, so a little bit of standard at least. And Malthael, okay. Malthael is back out there. That's gonna be a little bit tricky. If with good bunker placement, for example, Last Rites is not gonna get too much value. But... Well, first of all, there's of course the option to go into Tormented Souls, but usually when we get that, it's with Ana. For a nano boost, and it's more so like an Infernal Shrines play. The old man, hit him with a stick, and Nazebo. Yep, the new Nazebo. Changed, of course, and this is one of the maps where he was played in the past too, because you have more of a chance to get to level 20 with the Witch Doctor here. So, yeah, they're playing around that. Pretty much a double mage. I mean, classifying Nazebo there as a mage with this setup. But last pick, last but not least, for the Polish team. What's it gonna be? We still need a little bit more of the oomph, a little more damage, and it's Vala. Alright, the Hoodie Girls. Sylvanas and Vala are gonna try and drop the damage in game number 2 to turn things around and force game number 3 out of the series. Let's see if they can pull it off. Volskaya Foundry, map number 2. Game number 2. X-Ray for Feel the Heat on Deckard Kane. Blade on Blaze. We currently have Wit on Johanna. Patatbag again on Li Ming. And we actually have Dainu on Nazebo in game number 2. Alright. On the right side of the map, the Will Q with Mal'Ganis. Scope on Whitemane for Pepe My Lady. Ritual on Malthael as they're trying to turn things around and force game 3. Balsa on Vala. And Gorrider on Sylvanas. Okay. Well, let's see if they can pull it off. Can they actually make that happen? Yes or no? Yeah, well, the new Nazebo build, we talked about it already a little bit. That level 1 talent got insanely buffed by Blizzard. Someone over there was apparently taking... well, making good use of the new marijuana laws in California. It's now legal, so apparently someone has smoked a joint or two and then thought that it was an amazing idea to buff the level 1 talent on Nazebo, which was already kind of okay for people that wanted to play it safe, by giving it an additional 20% damage, which is nuts, to be honest. That is quite the adjustment on a talent. That was also quite the kill. Li-Ming is just popping off the entire time here. Well, Blade at this point is at the bot lane, still sitting against Richu, but has to be a bit careful because already low in HP. But yeah, the talent here, a little bit bonkers. 50 stacks and you get the 10% spell power, and at 100 you go up to 20. In general, I'm honestly not against talents that have a bit of a progression. I kind of like that, actually. We have other talents that work in a similar fashion, where you get a progression throughout the entire way you use the talent. But I feel with this one, they went a little bit overboard when it comes to balancing. Just a flat out 20% damage increase if you are not a completely tomato and you know how to stack your level 1 is pretty nuts. But yeah, now they have a second kill even against Mal'Ganis, and that is of course setting Feel the Heat up for a fantastic early game. But let's not forget that it really... I mean, it pretty much already happened the same way in game number 1, and then it turned around quickly as the level 10 kill talents kicked in. So yeah, that was... I don't want to overvalue it, let's just put it like that. Alright, our Li-Ming is still doing things here and also goes into the same build again. So Tyrone Foret on level 4, most likely going to pick up Calamity. And with the early level 4 talent, they're immediately going for the item. Level 4 kicks in just in time for Paper My Lady though. They want the fight, they get the fight, and they get the kill. Nazebo is down, and so is Johanna and Deckard Kane. Yeah? That is exactly the reason why I said let's not overvalue that lead for Feel the Heat just yet. Also, Blood Ritual on level 4 now for Nazebo. Yeah, we have actually seen a lot of the zombie rush on level 7 then. So again, if you go into the adjusted build, that's something we're probably going to experience here too. Vala with the traditional hybrid build, or well, multi-shot build, heading straight into the level 4 talent. And at this point, let's have a bit of a look on to what's happening, especially around the first objective. With level 7 talents, that would be a super solid advantage for Paper My Lady if they can pick that up early. Because as we have the first control point up, they have nearly a level lead. And an early level 7 would pretty much make it impossible for Feel the Heat to engage into a fight here. So that could be a thing. And that level 7 is going to drop any moment now. And the main question then will be, how long does it take Feel the Heat to take that talent for themselves as well? Already, Blade at the bottom of the map gets attacked, but the real fight is already here engaging in the middle, and there's a level 7. So there we go. Let's have a little bit of a look-see. Intercession, alright. Also, Arsenal. Actually, they get it a lot quicker than I thought they would. That hero spreading out towards the top, towards the bottom, but still, it's 82-84%. Calamity is in. Also, straight up the Emerald. And Nazebo, by the way, this time not with the Dead Rush, but instead we're seeing him with the Spirit of Arak here. Okay, so he gets the additional spiders out. Could also see a bit more action around the later talents. Oh, that's a quick kill. Jojo is already down, and another kill against Blaze. Damn, son. All of a sudden, the red team is starting to crush it, and that's objective number 1 safely in their hands. Together with that, they have Sylvanas, and I'm a bit curious to see how much they can get with this now. Traditional rotation would be get the wall in the middle, rotate towards the top, try and take the fountain down. But this is definitely a fantastic start now for Paper My Lady. 5 kills against 2. And then also losing out on the objective. Yeah, that's a little bit bonkers. And they actually go for the fort. Sylvanas is trying to take care of the top lane in the meantime, but the fort in the mid lane will fall. Goes down, especially with 2 heroes at the bottom of the map. And up towards the top. Can they get that as well? 16%, 20 seconds. It's not really likely. maybe break through the wall a little bit, but I doubt that they can make the play for the fountain itself. And if they open the wall up, that alone should help you to just push later with a few more heroes and try and get that. Oh, Gore Rider nearly falling here. That condemn was close. 10% additional damage, by the way, for Nazeebo now. He's sitting at 50. So he just got the first 10% unlocked, as you can see here. And that's going to be great for Dino, but once that he has 100, we're talking about the, well, another 10%, which is pretty solid to begin with. Level 10 abilities are also close for both teams. Now, when we're talking about the second objective, I mean, most of the time it's really centering around level 13 abilities. Map has been changed a while ago, I mean, nearly a year ago or so. But ever since then, it's not so much do you have level 10 or not, it's more so is level 13 ready for you, or do you have a problem logging that in, that we are talking about. But as we can tell, 10 abilities, the heroics are ready. Team steals also the turret away. And this is always what you should do on this map. If you have an advantage in talents, especially around level 10, you want to either push for one of the forts, or instead you want to take your opponent's items away. So not only safely go for your own side of the map, but be aggressive, steal your opponent's items, and then retreat back and take yours. No talent taking it on Malthael. I talked during the draft a little bit about how Tormented Soul is an option, and he actually goes for it now. It's something that I've mainly seen with Ana in conjunction, because an Ana boosted Malthael with Tormented Soul is pretty, I mean, really strong. But of course there are a lot of tools right now on the other side that can really deny last rights, so that seems to be where they're saying, hey, we need to get the value somewhere. Gary taken on level 10 for Nazeebo, Gary the Gargantuan. 73 stacks now for Nazeebo on the baseline, and therefore also for his level 1. So there's a solid chance that he's going to get that 20% damage increase soon. Wit needs to be a bit careful down here, and he is. But yeah, as I said, objective number 2 is going to be centered around level 13. You can already tell that the red team is on their way to grab that. With that push and the camp, they now are able to take the fountain, which is fantastic. Can they take down Malthael, though? Here's the last rights. No bunker yet from Blade. Waits a little bit. Spiders and Fox are coming out. And Whiteman is dropping her own ult to keep everybody alive here. But Mal'Ganis might be in trouble. No, instead it's actually a setup towards the top where they're trying to get the kill. There's the silence. And talking silence, stay a while and get wrecked. Yep, the old man comes in, hits them with a stick, and drops the quick sleep here. Nazeebo's in trouble. Dino is apparently too much used to blinking out with Zeratul, but Nazeebo doesn't offer that kind of mobility. So Nazeebo is down on 81 stacks, and that's another kill for the red team. Nicely done. Balls are barely alive, by the way. I mean, he got nearly dropped there, so he's able to get away. But now the control point unlocks in another 6 seconds, and just look at this, 1.5 levels away from level 13 for Feel the Heat, whereas the red team is now able to choose the additional talent. So yeah, that's looking good for them. Gloom is in, Remorseless, and yep, an additional item would be ready for a pickup too. If they want it, of course, that is. They're trying to grab this, and yes, there we go. Let me actually have a look at the damage for you guys. Where we're sitting right now. Li Ming, again, top damage for her team, 18,000. Nazeebo is sitting with 13k in the number 2 spot for them. But you look over to the opponent, and there's Malthael with 16, Vala with 19, and Sylvanas with 20k. So pretty strong setups here. I actually really feel that the red team could even go for a move towards the top and go for that fort. Especially when they saw that some of the heroes were at the bottom of the map trying to soak experience. Big lead again for Pepe My Lady. And Feel the Heat they have to make a move now. They're trying to get 13 just in time. And now they have to move in, 13 or no 13, unless they're willing to give the second objective up. And they are not. Well, that didn't help either. So there comes the Protector. Blaze is in trouble, but Malthael goes down first. Alright, the Malthael was actually a good one. Blade, he gets the globe, so that helps him to recover a little bit. But that's obviously a slight problem now for Paper My Lady. Having the Protector is fantastic, but if you can't do anything with a robot, then, well, what you gonna do? 6 kills against 3, so they rotate for experience, and I think they should at least get forward, but obviously this is not going to threaten the bot lane anytime soon. Sylvanas at the bottom of the map is going up against 2 heroes, and they're burning this one down quickly. Patat Bug is getting out of there just in time before he gets locked down. Talking about lockdown. Gore right at the bottom of the map is getting attacked there too. And is trying to 2v1. And nearly makes it happen. I mean, both of them low, but ults have been used now for Sylvanas. Yeah, 28,000. That's a stacking process. Naziba has 20% additional damage now. 117 stacks for him. Still more or less in time. 6 levels until 20 for the Violent Infection. Also, the Iceberg is now available. Li Ming again looking for a setup from the side here and gets the shots against Richu, was trying to hide in the bush. Bunker is already out, maybe a little bit premature, but they're firing away, and another good setup from Li Ming as she gets some damage connected. And then 20 stacks for Naziba. Again, it's more about the Violent Infection now than anything else. But here we have it. Malthael with the inevitable end. And Nazibo is sitting in the mid lane. Okay. Gets a little bit more damage in, more spiders, and, well, rotates towards the top. First of all, to pick up a little bit more experience, but of course the second thing is you want to get the stacks. You want to make sure that you get those stacks as quickly as you can, and nothing is better for that than rotating between lanes and taking additional ones there. But he has to rotate to the fight now, because that one's happening. Also, Seething Hatred. Oh, with a multi-shot build. Okay. Stay a while, get wrecked. Haha. Well, this time they're not getting wrecked, or do they? Well, they might actually. Another kill by Li Ming, and Li Ming still hasn't died yet. This kid is just crazy. Dainu, though, comes in from behind. The spiders do work! And he goes down before he can drop another one. He got a lot of damage with this setup, but just not enough to really make a difference here. But look at the damage output. Now that he has the 20% additional damage, he's sitting at 27,000. And that's despite the fact that he got killed 3 times. One of the main reasons why Li Ming is currently at 29,000 and still holds the top numbers on the blue team is pretty much that she didn't die yet, and therefore was continuously involved in every single team fight. And Li Ming is actually doing a fantastic job on that side. Yeah, she's doing really, really well here. So I love this play. But Nazibo still quite powerful. So if Dino can keep himself alive a little bit longer in these fights, he's going to have a huge impact. And they're starting to close the experience gap. It's still there, but it's not insane. So what else are we going to get? Stacking quest. Honestly, Dino is going to be able to complete that for 20. Yeah, if they get to 20, then Violent Infection is going to be a thing. He's just sitting there with 137. And if he's a bit more diligent now about the lanes, and especially, of course, the minion waves over here towards the top now in the middle, as he rotates around again, then he should be able to pick this up with no problem at all. The push against the opponent's fountain again at the bottom of the map, just as the third objective is announced. So Pepe Malady definitely making the correct plays here. Here comes another setup. Malgan is already trying to bait this, and another Nazibo flap, and this is a fantastic sleep. Holy shit! That's a double kill. Stay a while. Ah, good old Deckard Kane. The boomer is there, and he's ready to dingle, as Trixler would say. So he comes in and he dingles hard, hits them with the stick, ready to boom away here. And the old man definitely rocking it, trying for another setup, and that's a kill against Malganis. Yeah. 9 kills against 8. They just took down 4 heroes. And they are opening everything up. It's a little bit tricky to walk through here, actually. But thanks to the zombie wall soaking the shots, they're able to pull that off, too. What a sick setup here. That was actually incredibly well done. And I think now Nazibo should have taken over the damage pool. Yes, he did. 37,000 against 34,000. Looking fantastic here. And now rotating again. Dino rotates because he needs to get the stacks together. He's still a little bit too far away, and considering that they're 1.5 levels away from level 20, he wants to make sure that he is ready for the Violent Infection. And with 155 stacks already in his hands, that looks pretty good. Yeah, fantastic set. I mean, that fight was just glorious. The Stay a While and Listen was incredible. And then the Nazibo flank. I mean, it's pretty much 3rd times the charm, right? Comes in from the side and is able to get the setup. Damage numbers on the opponent's team, though. 40,000 for Sylvanas, 34,000 and 32,000 for Vala and Malthael. But the fight isn't just ready yet. Nazibo again sitting at the top side, getting a few more out. They are 19. They have to fight, though. I mean, he has to move down to the bottom of the map eventually, and the thing is, he has the stacks pretty much ready. So once level 20 ticks in, they're going to be good to go here. He gets the rest in the middle now. That's not a problem, but they still want to win the objective. I don't think they can... Can they rush to 20 with it? I don't really think so. I mean, Nazebo could have gotten another... Well, he could have gotten another one in the middle of the map. He's actually rotating in now. He's a little bit late, but I think there was a call made where they initially said, okay, guys, we are able to win that. And then they realized, I guess we have to go for this. But yep, doesn't get the experience, of course, thanks to the new change. And therefore, no level 20 for them yet. Wilq trying to also zone him out here. Wit is trying to delay the objective a little bit more. They won 20 and they are so close. And Violent Infection is going to be great one way or another. But can they get it in time? Blade is in trouble. Blessed Shield comes out. They're going into the backline already. Liming with another good combo connect. As the bunker's on the ground here for the blue team. Gets destroyed immediately though. Wilq still with the setup. Stay a while and get wrecked, son. All of them are trapped, and that's a triple kill. An easy one. Another setup against Vala. Dino gets the kill, and this looks more and more like we're going to see a 5-man team wipe right here, as they're going for Wilq to drop him too. The Vile Infection is in, and Nazebo is having a lot of fun at this point. Definitely rocking the damage numbers now. The delayed kill against Mal'Ganis comes through, and we already see Dino pushing the bot lane heavily, as the objective is not even taken by them yet. Gets the frogs through, and they're just burning all of this down. Dino is a little bit low, needs to be careful here, but still, they're just burning through the towers, and they're already making the play for the keep. The idea is obviously to go straight up for the core and make this a 2-0 victory once that they can control it. But this is a solid setup for them right now. And Nazebo, just look at that siege damage. He is just crushing it. The Vile Infection, fantastic for him at this point. 20 versus 20. The heroes are slowly coming back, but as we already said previously, the problem is that the keep is already gone. I mean, look at the shield. The shield is just disappearing, as Dino with Nazebo is just dropping more and more Vile Infection damage onto this. And he does the same thing pretty much to the heroes there too. A couple of spiders and frogs onto the core, and this is Gonzo. Yeah, Bunker's on the ground. Protector goes in straight for it. Stay a while and listen. Dino comes in with a little bit more damage. And even if Nazebo falls, this should be the end of it, and it definitely is. This is victory for Feel the Heat as they take the 2-0 and go up to the grand final. GG, and well played. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed the match and the commentary. The remaining time of the video has been added to protect against spoilers caused by the length of the video itself. But please keep in mind, though, that this does not only mean more work for me, but also has a negative impact on the popularity of the videos and the channel because of YouTube's algorithms. It would be greatly appreciated if you'd consider supporting the channel and help me to continue the daily esports coverage by clicking the join button below the video or supporting me through the Patreon page linked in the video description. Thanks a lot for the support, and see you guys next time.